Hi everyone, I am Jack Red. I know I didn't make a video yet on the Silent Hill series. I am a fan of the genre, and I just figured, hey, let's review the Silent Hill games. As a bonus, I'll do the movie, and I have played all the games. I'll be honest with you, I did play for a short period Origins, but fixed my friend console on that, and it's an okay game. It's pretty decent. But before we get more into there, let me just start off with this story. Resident Evil, a lot of people believe, popularized the genre. But if you look through the history of the genre, you notice that Resident Evil itself was inspired by a survival horror RPG by the name of Sweet Home, which was basically, there's a couple of titles beyond that that were released as earlier, like Haunted House, which is the earliest one. You would think it's Alien, but you would notice that they're a couple months apart. So, Haunted House is definitely the first one. Anyway, unlike the other clones of the genre, Silent Hill was probably the best one and the main competition for Resident Evil to date. I mean, they're both having tough times. They're doing good jobs on their games. It's sad that most of the team basically left the series after the release of 4, but we'll get to that. Let's start with the original. Silent Hill. Released 1999 on the PlayStation. It was the only Silent Hill game not to be on any other consoles. It was basically a standalone. But thanks to his team, we were actually able to play the game on the PC. And this is how I was able to play the game. It was incredible. I thought this was the best game in the series. It will straight up F your head. Basically what it is about is, you play as Harry Mason, and you're going around the whole Silent Hill town, basically looking for Cheryl, who is your stepdaughter, even though they didn't really clarify that until the Silent Hill 3. But anyway, you go around there, you meet some strange characters. Like, for instance, you meet Lisa, who actually has a drug addiction to like Claudia. You meet Dr. Coffin, who actually, if you help in the side mission, he's one of the divine factors of the game. If you do this side thing with him, that you can actually get either a good or another bad ending. But yeah, and then you meet Cyril Bennett, who's the other divine factor in your endings. Probably one of the most unique bosses in the game, because basically there's the duality. You know, how you're gonna finish her off basically is how you get your ending. And then you got divine factor, which will indicate what boss you get. Now, since Alyssa gets to take 2 god forms, depending on the endings you get, you know, that's who you're going to take on. If you get the good endings, you get the easier Samael, who flies around in her mom's image of God, and basically you take it on. If any of its attacks hit you, it's extra damage. If you take on Azasia in her god form, you cannot dodge the attack, but she is weaker. It's really unique. I mean, they had some awesome ideas in Silent Hill. One thing that pissed me off is they had you to basically pick between the chainsaw and the rock drill with the gas in the game. So it's like, do one with the chainsaw or do one with the rock drill, you know. And they both have their ups and downs, but the chainsaw seemed like a better weapon to me. So, Silent Hill 2, released 2001. Probably one of the best. Well, in a sense, it's a sequel, but the thing is, it doesn't take after the first game. Basically, you play as James Sunderland. You're going around Silent Hill to find your dead wife, who supposedly you get this letter from her. You find out, like, in the middle of the game that the letter is empty. Nothing's on it. You meet some strange characters in this one, too. For instance, you get to meet Angela, who was sexually abused by her father. You get to meet Eddie, who goes drugly insane by the end of the game. Let's see, you get to meet Maria, who turned out to be like reincarnation of Mary, to see if he would stay true to the love of Mary. But also, her death by Pyramid Heads basically was a reference to Mary actually dying in the game, which is unique. And of course, I had to introduce Pyramid Head, everyone's personal favorite monster of the series, the Punisher of Sins. So, going from there, Silent Hill 3. You play as Heather, and basically you run into this detective, Douglas, you run into Claudia, and you run into Vincent. Basically, Claudia is the crazy church girl, and Vincent was just he believed a god in a different sense, so he was more sane than Claudia. Douglas was just a person doing his job, and Heather originally just didn't care at first, and then strange things were going on. Then she wanted to kill Claudia. Then you find out that in the end, she was Cheryl all alone, which was a direct connection to the first game. What upsets me a little bit is they actually had Harry Mason killed in the game. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So going on from there, let's go to the worst Silent Hill. I will make a video telling you exactly how bad it is, so I'm just telling you the basic plot line behind it. Then there will be a video following that'll tell you how bad it is. Silent Hill 4: The Room. Like I said, it's the worst. Me and Raven just don't recognize it as a Silent Hill game. You play as Henry Taliesin, who's a really boring character, and you run into a bunch of characters in the game: Richard, Andrew, Jasper, Senda. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that woman's name in the game. Ellen, Frank Sunderland, who's supposedly is James' dad. Walter, who's basically he was crazy. I mean, he was even on the list of people he hadn't killed, and he came back from beyond the grave and killed more people. It's unbelievable. Basically, what the whole game is about is you're locked in your apartment room, and you're trying to find your way out of there, and you got to go through these portals which lead you into Silent Hill. So, unlike the other Silent Hill games, you don't actually walk around Silent Hill. You're just walking in certain areas of Silent Hill, which sucks. Then there's Silent Hill Origins. It takes 7 years before the original Silent Hill. My big criticism would be, why do you have to play as a trucker? But you get good hand weapons. It's somewhat okay. Like I said, I only played for a short period of time, and this program I was in, thanks to my friend Conson on that. So now I have a little treat for you: Silent Hill Homecomings. Oh, and as a bonus, look at this. I was lucky to actually get my hands on the game with the guidebook. I think it's the toughest Silent Hill ever made, just because you have to literally be good with the controls to get through the game. But the fear factor seems to be really there, so that's the only thing about it I know so far that's better than Resident Evil 5 is the fear factor. And its toughness. But then again, I can't say that because Resident Evil 5 does have progression mode, screwing up some parts of the game with the buttons, and you're just basically fucked. So it's an okay game. Basically, what this one is about is basically you're basically trying to find your brother Josh, who you find out at the end by actually drowned. The other three bosses in the game are basically people that were killed by their parents as a sacrifice to their god. So let's see what else. Silent Hill movie. Pretty good movie. It's probably one of the best video game movies ever made. Definitely the best one in survival horror. Better than the original Resident Evil movie. It had the pyramid ahead. It had the giant roaches. It had a little bit of everything in there. My only complaint, and my friend's complaint, is why would it be a woman looking for her daughter if, in the original Silent Hill game, that his wife died 3 years prior to the game, and it's supposed to be the dad looking for the daughter. I don't know what caused this change to happen, but we know it's not directly connected to the games. We do know that it was closely developed, in development with the creators. So that is one good plus right there. So I'm Jack Red. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you all later.